Hey guys, Basement Hunter here. Well, it's been raining all day, sometimes torrential downpours. It's a cold and damp day, so I thought it'd be a good day to start a fire, play in the basement. I've been working on fiberglass projects and have made a lot of progress learning what works for me as time allows. I've switched from fiberglass mat to toilet paper with the resin. The mat was really messy once my gloves got a little sticky from the resin. I ended up with fiberglass mat strands all over the work area, on the outside of molds, all over my gloves, basically everywhere. Also, the matting was very sharp on the edges after the resin dried. I ended up puncturing my hand with a strand after it dried, which was irritated for a few days. I decided I wanted to find something not as messy to work with, so I experimented with newspaper, then paper towels, and finally toilet paper. Both newspaper and paper towels were too thick. They didn't absorb the resin very good, and neither retained detail in the mold very good. Toilet paper soaks the resin perfect. It's thin enough to retain detail and doesn't stick to itself, so it can be pulled apart without destroying itself. Not to mention it doesn't puncture your skin after the resin dries. I also discovered by tearing the toilet paper into little bits into a Dixie cup, adding resin and hardener, by the time it was mixed up, I could use it as a glue paste to glue fiberglass resin parts together. I've been working on the fiberglass out in my shed and wearing a cartridge respirator because it has an extremely strong smell. I've been casting quite a few skulls. This skull is using the toilet paper method. This one was from a blow mold skull. It was a failed experiment. The side of the face didn't turn out. I went back later and patched it so it looks really cool in a rotting face kind of way. The leg bone was cast from a blow mold skeleton. This was the failed paper towel resin experiment. It still looks okay, definitely usable, but not the end result I was trying to achieve. It's also very strong and heavy. The foot was regular fiberglass mat. My latest projects are hands and lanterns. The hands will be holding the lanterns. I really like how the lanterns look much more decrepit than the original. The more you mess up casting, the better it looks for Halloween. The lanterns shine light through the toilet paper resin just fine. I'm going to put flicker bulbs in them, and only painting the top and glass panel supports will block the light where needed. I'm not going to do anything to the glass panel section since it's already waterproof and I want the light to shine through. The silicone mold tore a lot making those two lanterns, but I'm going to try to make another using it the way it is because I'm thinking it will be easier to get into it while casting, and pulling will be much easier too. If not, I'll make alterations. The hands are turning out pretty good. I'm going to place the electric wire inside the hand before filling it with great foam for filler and to hide the wires. I used the resin paste I talked about earlier to attach the thumb on this hand since it was casted separately. I also added a piece of toilet paper soaked in resin for added strength. This one doesn't have the thumb attached yet. I'm going to loop the thumb around the ring of the lantern so it holds in the hand on this one. I was amazed how strong the resin cures and have no doubt it will hold the lantern no problem. I also figured out by dipping a sheet of toilet paper in the resin and shoving it in small details and undercuts, you can save resin because the paper takes up space and it also holds the resin and the details. I poured the first few of these solid with resin to get the detail, but now I'm trying to figure out how to save resin and pour more efficiently. I think the toilet paper method is going to save a lot of resin in the end by holding the resin in place. I've been trying different types of silicone kitchen tools since you can just pull the resin off after it dries. I added extra silicone on the handles so the resin would be easy to remove from there as well. The tongs work great for getting the sheets of toilet paper spread back apart after they are soaked in resin, and for placing the sheet in the mold where you want it. I had to snip the metal ring off of them so they would stay open while in use. 2 sets are vital for pulling the sheets back apart so they don't stay stuck in a ball. I can't tell you how many times I've used this basting brush. I'm sure I would have went through a box of chip brushes by now. I think this small spatula is my new favorite tool. Once I set the sheet of resin soaked in toilet paper in place with the tongs, this spatula does a great job pushing it into the details. It also works great for mixing up the resin versus a paint stick. The paint stick was really built up when I discovered how well the spatula mixes up the resin. It's easy to remove the resin after it's dry on the silicone spatula for many uses. I haven't tried the other tools yet. I finally got around to trying some backlighting inside the fiberglass props to see what it would look like. The first test was an LED color changing USB cable my sister gave me. I was really pleased with the amount of light that showed through, and the colors translate well too. The second test was a flicker bulb in the lantern prop. I think that will look great as well. I hope you enjoyed seeing the progress I've made on fiberglass resin casting. Bye for now.